Hello, people of God. We want to welcome you to another segment of Behind the Scene with John Sagoe Ministry. I am excited to come your way again today. We want to continue our talk with the call. We have been dealing on the topic of the call, been sharing with us how God called me and all the things that went behind the scene that a lot of people don't know about. So today we want to continue to talk about that. So we want to look at specifically today on the issue of teaching and doctrines. Teaching and doctrines. When you start ministry at the very beginning, very often your source of information are limited. You know, your library is limited, your study capacity is limited, and then as time goes on, of course, you start getting more and more information. You start, attending maybe seminars, leadership meetings. You start studying books, start reading books and studying, many other things here and there to get more information and get more clarity on certain topics. So how do you navigate from the things that you used to teach and the things that you have now learned, and you have now realized that, what I was teaching before is not quite complete, or it's not correct, or it's maybe not actually in line completely with the Word of God? How do you navigate out of that, even if you still have the same congregation? So one of the things that I do personally during my own time of growing up in the ministry is to go back and make clear to the church if there was anything that I said that I feel that was not complete or was not correct. I just bring it in the teaching, and then I mention that when I was studying, this was what I thought before, but now I have an upgraded revelation, or what I thought then was not completely right. It's good to be transparent. It's good to be honest about it, because that shows your authenticity. That shows your genuinity. That shows that people can relate to you. People can see you as human. People can accept that you are growing, you are learning, you are improving. So there is nothing bad about it. You don't need even to defend it and try to say, to excuse yourself. It is what it is. You just have to let the people know that what you were teaching before was not the best. And people are happy to actually be around a teacher that is progressing. They are happy to be around a teacher that is constantly learning, a teacher that is improving, a teacher that is eager to bring, the mind of God and to bring the updated revelation of God to them all the time. So be transparent about that. So that is one of the things that in my early days that I was actually dealing with in terms of understanding how to navigate between different doctrines and different teachings that are out there. And then another thing also that I really would like to talk about today is the spiritual life. I talked in the other previous video about, in the beginning of the call, how I get involved so much in my fasting life and prayer life. But I also want to talk about a little bit about how I personally was growing spiritually as well, apart from the prayer, apart from the fasting, apart from reading the Word of God. What also helped me to grow was to listen to other men and women of God. Other men and women of God that carry the same teaching of where I am going. Or, for example, one of the topics that interests me a lot in my growing up days as a minister was the topic of prayer. And today I'm still into that topic. And so I was really digging, in reading books and, going to search for materials, even Googling online during the time the online thing became popular. The search engine became popular. I began to search for prayer. I began to listen to, videos of, good prayer teachers and all that stuff. So it's very important that you know how to grow your spiritual life through studying the right people. because it's not all teaching out there is for you. There are special teachings that you are interested in that is in line with your calling, because that's also another important aspect, that when you are called, you need to know what area specifically God has called you. Because even though you are called to be a pastor, there is a line that you should specialize on. In my case, I was always very interested in deliverance. I was always very interested in prayer. I was always very interested in prophecy, and that is how I actually grow from all those things to where I am today, to become a prophet to the nation, because these things were always in me. So I was always studying this. And then, of course, another thing that was interesting me a lot was the signs and wonders. Healing. I was very interested in healing powers and to see miracles in the ministry. So I also took my time to be around the healing ministers or healing leaders when I was growing up, to see how they were doing it is one thing, but also to ask them questions and to know how their life was and what kind of sacrifice they were doing, what kind of investment they were doing, and how they are able to move in that power. So all these things are very, very important as a minister, to be able to get yourself into these things and ask all these questions and soak in with the teachings that comes out of the great people. And then the other thing that was also very important for me is the issue of training. And I think I need to talk about this also, because for me, when we were starting our ministry, we started our ministry, like I said before, with what we call the G7, the small group of 7 people, and which we still have today. But apart from that, we also start training people. So we started with what we call Bible studies first. We started having a group of people that are interested in Bible study. Apart from the G7, the small group setting, we have a group of people that we are interested in Bible study. And then we move from there to what we call discipleship training. And my discipleship training those days was like a team of about 5 people, and sometimes it grew to a team of about 10 people. And I remember once I even have a team of about 12 people. I was thinking, wow, this is now really interesting, because the church is now growing. And then I remember that once we went out with our discipleship team to a place called MacPom. MacPom is somewhere in Germany. And so we went there and we were camping in an area, and we were doing evangelism, and we even have an open air crusade there. And I remember how we were leading some people to Christ, with our team that went with us there. It was very, very exciting and very, very interesting. So we had this experience with our discipleship training, and then we metamorphosed from discipleship training to what we call School of Ministry. We started a school of ministry where we began to deal with different topics in detail. So in every school of ministry session, it will be for a period of 6 months, and then we will take a particular topic and we will go deeper in that topic, like supernatural. We will go deeper in supernatural, like healing. We will go deeper in healing, like faith. We will go deeper. So we take different topics and we study them for 6 months in this school of ministry. And then we metamorphose from that school of ministry to where we are today, called Prophetic School of Ministry, or Prophetic School. So I want you to know that all this process are also helping to grow the church. I don't know what the Lord might have given to you as an assignment, you that are watching us today, but whatever your assignment is, it is important that you prayerfully consider the training pattern that you're going to follow through. But whatever you are doing, it's important that you have training. And as I like saying in my most of the videos, it is important that you can interact with us, share with us your own opinion, and also we would like to hear from you that if any of these topics that we have been dealing on or brushing through is so interesting for you, please identify it in the comment section and let us know which of the topics you like the most so that we can, consider having more detailed teaching in those topics as well, because I believe that every one of these topics is very unique, but of course we know that we don't have the whole time in the world to go into every topic in detail. So we thought it's just good to give you a brief information about all these topics, and then when we hear from you, we can consider going also in detail in any topic that interests the public the most. But we also want to encourage you to like this broadcast, take your time also and share this broadcast and give us a thumb up, because I believe that this is going to be helping somebody also that is probably starting ministry or about to start ministry, so that they don't make the same mistakes that we have made. So because of that, we decide to go into this behind the scene to share with you. Of course, we're going to be in future bringing you more and more other topics as well that has to do with real issues that we are going through in ministry or that we are facing in ministry. So stay on and stay tuned to this channel, because we're going to be bringing you some interesting and powerful topics that is really going to help you in the course of your ministry. But in conclusion today, I would like really to let us look at a little bit again on the topic of finances and investment. Finances and investment. How was that for me also in ministry? During the time we are always struggling at the very beginning, like I said before, we were always struggling about finances. But one of the things that I really know that was very important is to take time to really study how does kingdom finances work and what does God say about kingdom finances. And that's what led me into studying the whole thing about first fruit. I have written a book on first fruit because I was so eager on studying about kingdom finances. And then I have also written a book on 31 keys of successful living, because I wanted to understand in depth how all these things work. And so in the early stage of our ministry, I become a faithful tither. A faithful tither. I mean, I can tell you so many testimonies about tithing, because in the early stage of our ministry, the Holy Spirit really began to show me how important it is to have a godly order in my finances and to put it correctly before God. So as a pastor, I really tithe regularly. And I can boldly say, without making a mistake, that from the onset of our ministry till today, I have never missed any month of tithing. And so that was what has really helped our financial growth and our financial blessing to be able to go to the next level. And then another thing also that helped our finances was ability to sow seed. Ability to sow seed. Apart from giving regular offering in the church, and also not only giving regular offering, but also giving offering in such a way that you aim in growing your offering capacity. So for example, when I started giving offering in the church, I started probably with 5 francs. 5 Swiss francs. If you are watching us from outside the country, it's probably equivalent to $5 US. I started giving, but today, I will not tell you how much I'm giving today. But what I can tell you is that I have graduated to at least 3 digits I'm talking about offering, giving up to 3 digits of offering in a bowl, but it was not so at the very beginning. So it means that every year I was trying to improve my offering, because I really believe that the more we put our finances before God in order, the more God also blesses us. So don't forget, being a man of God and being a woman of God does not exempt you from giving, does not exempt you from paying your tithe, does not exempt you from giving your offering, does not exempt you from giving your first fruit. For example, the teaching of first fruit, from the time I learned about first fruit to date, and that is more than 10 years ago, I have never stopped giving my first fruit every year. So it's important that all these things, that we learn how to do them. And then also, what about investment? What about investment? Investment is very important, because even though the church is non-profitable organization, we have to think about what are the things that we can invest the money of the church into that can last for a very long time. For example, land investment. Land investment for church is a very important investment, because buying your own land and building your own church building help you to actually spiritually occupy a territory. Because wherever you build a church for God and it belongs to the church, you have taken physically and spiritual authority of that region. And so investing in the landed property is very, very helpful. And then also other investment that are very helpful that I see is investing in organizational staff. Right from the onset of our ministry, I was paying myself less than I was paying my secretary. Then it was a secretary. Today we call them PAs. But those days they were secretary. I was paying my secretary more than I was paying myself, because I find that investment is important for me to invest in having a secretary that help to organize the affairs of the church and make sure that things are running very well. Because when people come to your church and see that things are running very well, they will want to come back again, because they will see that you are in charge. So investing in staff, organizational staff. And when I talk about organizational staff, of course, I started with investing in a secretary. But today, even at a time in our ministry, we were running 10 staff in our headquarters. We were having 10 people that were receiving salary from us. Today, I don't know how many of the people are receiving salary today, because the bookkeeping and the salary thing doesn't run through me, but what I'm trying to say is that there is always a need to have people to stay in a strategic position and work for the church, so that the things of the church will be carried out with the spirit of excellency. So there is also other areas of investment that is needful according to where you live, or the area and the country that you are living. You can maybe have a need of investing in transportation, like to transport people and bring people to the church, or different other things that you find important. For example, another investment that is very important for me was media. As you can see, we are reaching you through the power of media today, because this was another investment that was very important. So in the early stage of our ministry, we were able also to invest in media. So there are so many areas that you have to prayerfully ask God to invest. Don't eat the money alone, because if you eat the money alone as a man or a woman of God, you will die alone. Maybe that's not a good word. But anyway, don't eat the money alone, because it's not good that you eat it alone. If you want to grow big and you want to impart more life, learn to invest, and invest in good places. Until we come your way again, we have not run out of what? But we have run out of time. But we want you to know that this place is a channel that you want to keep coming again and again. So take time to subscribe on this channel today. If you have not subscribed, come on, go ahead, do it. Don't wait too long. Do it right now. And then like also this broadcast, and let's hear from you. Comment. Let us know how this broadcast has been blessing you, and also share your opinion with us and what maybe you think we should do better in this program. Until we come your way again, we want you to know we love you. We love you. We love you. Shalom.